Alex, you want canned cranberry sauce, or should we make it ourselves?
That's my mom. She didn't know about Instacart's family carts, so...
Want to make pecan pie this year, yes or no? Oh, and how many boxes of stuffing?
So I told her we could just share a family cart and add all our holiday favorites to the same order without losing our voices or our sanity. It's so much fun.
Alex, can you get my holiday village out of the attic?
Baby steps, Alex. Baby steps. Shop Instacart this holiday season and enjoy free delivery on your first 3 orders. Service fees and terms apply.
Alex?
What's up, Cuzzy Wuzzies? You're listening to the Bay Ridge Boys, History Hyenas. Bad. Yes, sir. Welcome to History Hyenas with Yannis, Pappas, and Chris Distefano. If you're asking what the hell was that, yes, those are cackling hyenas over a freestyle beat because we are fucking 2 wild, savage animals that deserve to be put down.
Another way you could say that is the greatest intro song to any podcast you will ever hear. We crack up laughing every time it starts playing because this is the History Hyenas. We are wild for nature and history. Bad, over and over again.
And today we got our cast of characters. We got Chrissy D, Yanni P. We got Zach, our sound engineer who looks like an ISIS recruit. We got Bardo Church, who is in fact a WASP and comes from WASP heritage.
He is.
And
it bothers him to be in this room right now.
It does.
You can't help it.
Yeah.
If your lineage is from your ancestors or from Germanic tribes from Northern Europe, at one time he was trash. The irony is, my people, you sit there and you think you're German. You're not. You're not.
His haircut, cuz.
You are Italian trash to him.
I'm calm to the alt-right.
And Zach over here. It makes Bardo's not going to be able to eat till 9 p.m. because he was around his beard and his glasses. He's got a Band-Aid holding his glasses together.
Yeah.
Bardo, it's deep in a wasp's soul.
Disgusting.
He's to be disgusted by it. Debo's sitting here. He's just looking at ethnic Southern European trash. But the irony is, my people used to look at his people like trash because Greeks were the first civilized people and his people were running around in fucking tribes. We called them barbarians. They were named barbarians because they weren't Hellenic. They weren't civilized. They were fucking trash.
Wild. And we talked about them last week, the Vikings.
That's right.
And Yannis mentioned Debo, James DiBernardo. We got one of my friends from home, Debo.
One of the most esteemed scholars, historians.
Yeah, we were all walking around and we talked about time machines, and Yannis and I both said that we would like to go back in time to, Yannis said Greco-Roman time. I said, colonial America, which we'll talk about today, and Debo said 1986 when the Mets won the World Series. So that's the kind of human trash you're dealing with today in the podcast. He's our one guest, and he's just a hefty bag with a heartbeat. He works at JetBlue.
He's a pilot.
He tells girls he's a pilot, but he actually loads the bags onto the plane.
I am a pilot.
But it doesn't matter. He gets a lot of puss.
He's a pilot.
And he had a nice run until he ran into a female pilot, and she asked him a simple question. She said, "What did she ask you?"
She asked me, what equipment do I work? What equitment I fly? And then I just stopped.
And you said 747. That was the answer.
It's A380.
Yeah, that was the answer. He just named the type of plane, and
Airbus.
It's been dried since then.
Yeah, and we're going to Germany.
And we're going to Germany at the end of the year. We're going to go to the Oktoberfest. Debo's going to come with us, and our friend Pat Finnegan. And most likely, I would say that the group that we're going out with 15 guys. Probably 13 will come back. I think we'll lose.
We're going to lose a couple guys.
I think we'll lose a couple.
We're going with all firefighters.
Firefighters, yeah. We're going with full-blown FDNY guys.
And one pilot, just in case.
Just in case, yeah. Somehow
we need to fly out of there.
Yeah, we got that. So, and look, it's going to be dope. Today, we just came off.
Wait, you got your Wenderhosen for it too, right?
Oh yeah, I got my Lederhosen.
You bought them.
Lederhosen for $100. It was a President Day sale.
He actually bought Lederhosen.
Yeah.
He sent me a text. He goes, "You want me to pick you up one?" Cause I thought he was joking.
Yeah.
And then he sent me another text. Purchased $100 Lederhosen.
Yeah. Hold on. Wait. Let me just find.
Are you gonna wear that?
I'm gonna wear it, cause
dude.
Why not?
You're bi at least a little bi.
Yeah. Here. I'll tell you. I said, we were talking, and I was dead serious about buying these things, and I did. And Yannis, I said to him, Yannis, what about these for Germany? I said, what size are you? And he wrote, ha ha ha, cuz you move around so funny. This got me good, cuz you're a real funny guy. Then I sent him a receipt of me buying it, and his next texts are you fucking seriously mentally ill, cuz? You're by at least, no question, caps lock. You're out of your mind. You bought that. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, I think this is you're definitely at least bisexual.
Yeah.
There's no question. You can't be I guess Germans move around in those lederhosen.
They wear those. Yeah, they wear those beds like baby overalls.
Yeah. Maybe we should have ISIS Google the origin of lederhosen. We'll do a whole episode on lederhosen.
Yeah.
Right now, if you're listening, you're probably saying, I'm curious about lederhosen. You might want to Google it. Google it quick. But you know what? We'll do an episode where we get into every single detail of lederhosen one day.
Oh yeah. Once we go
go wild like that.
When we go to Germany, those episodes. First of all, we're probably gonna do weeks and weeks and weeks of episodes leading up about European history.
We'll fucking learn German and do them in German. That's how wild we are.
I'm going on tours when we get out to Munich.
Absolutely.
I want to go on tours bad. A lot of people look at Yannis and I and think that we put up sheetrock, but we go on walking tours religiously.
Religiously.
We went on a history tour today. It's called the Big Onion, BigOnion.com, Big Onion Walking Tours. They are not a sponsor of the show, but maybe one day they will be. I'm genuinely just shouting them out because it was the best walking tour I've ever been on. The tour guide's name was Alice, and Yannis wanted to clean her out bad.
Well, now there goes her ever being on the podcast, Chris.
We'll edit it out. Folks.
Clean her out means clean her out of knowledge. I want to sit down with her, and learn all. I mean, you go off the trails quick.
Cuz I'm fucking
you go
no
off the
filter.
If Bartle came down and gave us a roadmap and said, "This is how you get to the top of the hill," you're like, "Nah, cuz I want to cut through the bushes."
Yeah,
you cut through the bushes, bad. You're constantly.
That's why I got psoriasis, cuz.
Yeah, she had a lot of knowledge, and I would love to clean her out of that knowledge.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got a lot of historical knowledge.
She was fantastic. Debo was with us. He strung along with us, and it was great. Debo was asking wild questions, like, Debo said he thought that the inauguration of George Washington happened in Minnesota, which is fucking beyond nuts.
We were looking at the Wall Street, the architecture of the stock exchange. I go, yeah, it's Greco. I said Greco-Roman.
Yeah.
First of all, Greco-Roman architecture is probably the Michael Jordan of architecture.
Yeah, and I think that's why you want to take a time machine back to Greco-Roman style, because in the Greco-Roman era, bisexuality was commonplace, and Yannis is a true bi.
True bi. It's in me. Like, I'm Greek. I'm not gay, but if I went to jail, I'd probably be pretty good at it.
Yeah. Bye.
Used to let me fool for you. Just another player in the game.
Yo, NSYNC was dope.
They were dope.
I know every member of NSYNC.
Do you listen to that in the shower?
Ask me who every member of NSYNC is.
Go ahead.
Justin Timberlake,
Boom.
JC Chavez, Chris Kirkpatrick, Lance Bass, Joey Fatone. Bang! Give me a dick in this.
Yes. We need a yas button. We need
yes. We need Joey Camasta to record it.
Absolutely.
Look up Joey Camasta, good friend of ours, good friend of the podcast.
So anyway, I said, it's the Greco-Roman architecture. I was pointing at the stock market, and Debo goes, "What makes you Greco-Roman? The columns?"
Yeah, cuz.
I was like, yeah, the columns.
Yeah. Debo was great. Every time we was a walking tour through New York, and Debo wanted to stop and get a hot dog every 10 feet.
Yeah.
Man, he was looking at those hot dog vendors like, cuz, you think I got time to stop and get a hot dog?
Yo, how funny were those hot dog vendors and the guys with the pamphlets who were just interrupting the tour to try to sell you hot dogs?
Bro.
Like, pretzels, hot dogs. Like, dude, come on, we're doing a history tour here.
But this is the way New York has been since day one.
Yeah.
Literally since day one. So, all right, here's where we'll start. Okay, today's about, as we teased last week, colonial America, the Revolutionary War. We're going to get specifically into espionage in the Revolutionary War, because it's the only time where you want to be a fucking rat. It's acceptable, is when you're a spy for the good guys, the red, white, and blue. That's the only time being a fucking dirty rat stool pigeon is no problem, because we need you to get secrets, and spies are encouraged not to keep their mouth shut. They have to tell us what's going on. So here's what happened.
And you need spies when you're at a disadvantage like that. When you are just like a band of revolutionaries, like the Sons of Liberty, when they were forming, you guys are at a disadvantage. You're conquered. Those are your conquerors, basically. Right. So you need spies to be able to get the upper hand.
Right.
To get an advantage, because you're outnumbered, you're outgunned, etc.
Right. And something that you learn, like when you look into history, like, as you know, the winners write the history books, right? The losers don't write the history books. The winners write the history books. So we'll start off with how the revolution, how it all began. Why were we even upset about, why did we even want to get away from England? Well, French and Indian War, right? Fucking French, as always. You know, I love that, you know, and Yannis and I, you spoke about this before, how we always shit on France. You know, like we're always like, oh, France this, French that, fuck the French. And they send their entire army to bail us out and give us our independence.
We needed them back then.
We needed them back then. Yeah.
But that was really their last great stand.
Yeah.
That was really like their last great military moment.
Yeah.
Was probably helping us with Lafayette. And
they didn't put out anything really good until the Pink Panther. That was the next big thing they put out. Pink Panther was dope.
Yeah.
I
mean, they rolled over after that.
They had Marquis Lafayette. They gave us our independence, and then pretty much shit for 250 years. Then Pink Panther came out, and I went to see it back. I went fucking wild for the Pink Panther.
Peter Sellers was good.
Peter Sellers. I'm a Steve Martin Pink Panther guy, but that is what it is.
Yeah, well,
but anyway,
I'm older than you.
Here's how it starts. The French and Indian War. Okay, and Indian, by the way, yes, we know is not a socially acceptable term.
Yeah, what's the socially acceptable? Let's call
Native Americans.
No, that's not even good.
Native Americans isn't good?
No, because you're otherizing other people.
Oh, that's right.
You can't otherize. So
the French and
they're persons.
Lou Diamond Phillips.
Persons of indigenous origins.
Yes.
Empowered persons of indigenous origins of the Americas. But you can't even say America because that is the patriarchy, the white male patriarchies named it America.
Right.
So native lands, but native lands means it was named by the patriarchy.
Okay.
So we're going to have to learn native Indian languages to properly refer to that.
And so because we don't
Let's just make a noise to do it. The people.
Well, that we know can be associated with African tribes, but we're talking about specifically Native American tribes. So how about this?
This is a maze of offending people.
How about this? Because we don't want to offend anyone, let's just say the French and then moment of silence. War. Okay, there we go. Just the French, and then we're going to take 2 seconds, and that you can fill in what you want to fill in to not otherize or disrespect anybody's culture. It's just the French. 2 seconds blank. War. So that happened. It was really the French versus the British. So they say Indians because the French had Indians or Native Americans, whatever you want to say, at the time, just the native people helping them. And it was the first time that they tried to conquer North America. Britain and France both were fighting for North America. So the British win, and they're bankrupt. The British have no money left because how many freaking billions of dollars it takes? It's a lot of money for a war. So they got cleaned out. The British had no loot. So who do they look to? They look to the colonies, the 13 colonies, which they were always cool with them. It's just like an extension of England, were the 13 colonies, basically. All right. So it was just like we were like England's side piece in a way. Well, we were them. The people who came over here were the Mayflower. Yeah, the people came over, the Mayflower and stuff. Yeah, but you know what I mean. But it's not like you don't look at Puerto Rico like they're Americans. They are, but you don't look at it like that.
What do you mean?
Like a Puerto Rican, to me, it's a lot of people would be like, oh, Puerto Rico's another country, but it's an American Commonwealth. They're American citizens, Puerto Ricans.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's sort of the same thing.
So that's what I'm talking about. Like that was the mindset of it back then. It's like, yes, knowledgeable people like us, people that respect the empire, if you will. We would be like, yeah, of course Puerto Rico's a part of the country. But people in the middle of the country or the fucking deep south, like, nah, they ain't part of us. That's what colonies were to England, pretty much. It's like they had us, but they didn't really respect us. But they didn't really fuck with us too much. But then comes about money. They get cleaned out by the French and Indian War. Britain's got no money. So they start taxing the 13 colonies for really no reason. They just start taxing everything. They start taxing...
Well, for a good reason. To get the money back.
But I mean, according to us, no reason. Like, what? We didn't... we fought in your war. As a matter of fact, General George Washington was... I think a colonel in the French and Indian War.
Yeah.
So most of our great American heroes, George Washington, Paul Revere, Alexander Hamilton, all these guys, they fought in the French and Indian War. I don't know if Hamilton did. He may have been.
They
too
were
young.
basically Kevin Durant on OKC, and then they went to Golden State.
Perfect analogy.
But they were always basketball players.
They're always playing ball.
They were always hooping.
They're always hooping. So, what happens then in 1765? We got what's called the Stamp Act, where Britain just turns around and says, listen, Cuzzy Wuzzies, we're just going to start. They say King George.
That's exactly how it happened, by the way. He said, listen, Cuzzy Wuzzies.
King George was eating a slice, and he said, listen, you fucking...
He said, listen, Cuzzy Wuzzies.
He said, listen, you fucking mooks.
Yo, gather around.
Yo.
Because he was.
Listen, you know you guys...
Do you think they still had the... When did they lose the accents, you think?
The Patriots?
I've never heard that in any historical documents or documentaries, books. When did, like... We got to research that. Like, when did, like, in other words, did George Washington, was he like, hello, my name is George Washington?
Well, they all had, well, because look, they were born and raised here. They were born and raised in the colonies, you know, Washington's Virginia, Jefferson's Virginia, all these guys. But yeah, you had British people with British accents all around you.
Yeah.
But because we're so far away, we're on the other side of the ocean, it's not direct. Like, you could still tell, like, who's from London. You know, people in England can tell, are you from Northern England, Southern England? Are you from Scotland? Like, to us, everybody just sounds like Shrek to me. I don't fucking know.
So we probably sounded to the Brits, the colonists, the colonialists, probably sounded to the Brits the way the Montreal Quebecers sound to France.
Exactly.
They looked at us like, that's a goofy accent.
Or like, we're speaking English, but like, you know, like the way Debo talks.
Yeah.
Like, Debo, just say a couple of words. Just say, hello, my name's James Debo.
Hello, my name is James Debo.
See, like that. Yeah,
soaked in a fucking cannoli.
So, yeah, you sound like a sewer cap that just came to life. You sound like a magical spell. I just fucking took a sewer, and you're talking, and you're speaking English, but to a British person, that's, you know, to Bardo and his wasp.
He just dry heaved.
Seriously, he just started Bardo just started dry heaving. Google Bardo Church, and you will see he started dry heaving when Debo said that, and that's what was happening back then. We spoke the language, and we were, you know, part of their territories, but the British soldiers especially, they thought we were fucking filth, trash, just gross trash, including George Washington and Benjamin Franklin, our elite people who actually had the ear of the king. They still thought we were fucking just dirty scum of the earth bullshit. So 1765 Stamp Act, we go fucking wild. We're like, no, you're not gonna no taxation without representation. That's basically what it was. And Benjamin Franklin was like, listen to me. He went over to England.
Wait, he said, listen, cuzzies.
He said, listen, cuz, look, I know listen. He goes, I only got a few minutes here because I got syphilis bad. My dick is fucking dripping. I banged. Benjamin Franklin banged so many broads. That's why it's called Broad Street. That's why it's called Broad Street. Yeah.
Is that a fact?
Bro, he died of syphilis. Benjamin Franklin
used to clean up bad?
Cuz he got puss left and right. That's why his face on the $100 bill.
Really?
Yeah, because he's got fucking punani.
Really?
Yeah, that's why his highest currency. They say, yeah.
Yo, a lot of our greatest men, like, really cleaned up.
Cleaned out, yeah.
JFK, cleaned up. Martin Luther King, cleaned up. Benny Frank,
cleaned up. Derek Jeter, cleaned up. Yeah, these guys clean up.
Yeah.
So Benny Frank was getting puss left and right, and he eventually died of syphilis, as most people know. But that was a common thing. I mean, he would go to Paris. You know, people used to say that Benny Frank would, like, you know, need to talk to the French government, like he would make up some crisis that was happening in the colonies, so he needed the colonial the American government to send it to Paris to, like, talk to the king, but really he just had puss out there. He had puss.
He had roadkill out there.
Yeah, he had road. Yeah, he was stinking it up.
Yeah.
You know, let me tell you, and two, I mean, you know, maybe we'll get to this one day, but the stench of the colonial times must have been fucking wild.
That's another thing. Yeah, you always wonder about the accents, and you don't always wonder, how did they smell back then?
Yeah, probably stunk bad.
Probably, like, how often do you think they showered?
I mean, showering was a luxury. Brushing your teeth was a luxury.
Yeah.
I mean, George Washington had wooden teeth.
He did.
Could you imagine how bad your teeth have to be to they're fucking made of wood?
Probably got some splinters in your gums.
Could you imagine that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they probably stunk bad, but you know what? Since everyone stank pretty bad,
yeah,
I bet you could probably tell the class of the person just smelling them.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I bet you like Bardo's relatives. His people, in his background, there's been a few guillotines. His ancestors beheaded a few people.
100%.
And they burned a few people. So I bet you, like, his ancestors, if they came around, they showered a lot, and you could tell what your socioeconomic status is based on smell. I'd be like, this guy's a lowly farmer.
If Bardo could press a button right now and bring his ancestors from colonial times into this room right now, and he took one look around his his ancestors would put themselves in the guillotine. They would cut their own heads off because of how they cannot believe how far the economy and how far society has fallen, that Bardo and his WASP ancestors are now even in the room with, I mean, you just put snooze in your mouth. You understand? You have chewing tobacco on your lip right now.
I know. Bardo got hired by an Italian Italian guy from Sicily.
He used to take an
and he's
order.
half Jewish too. Isn't he Serpico half Jewish?
Serpico's a fucking half Jew,
half
Italian. And now Bardo.
How do you eat in the office around him? That's tough for you. Deep down, it's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough for him.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he doesn't want to be a bad person. He doesn't want to feel that way, but it's in there.
Yeah, when Bardo will send an email like, "What do you guys want for lunch?" And Jim and Tom will say, anything. Why don't you get spaghetti and meatballs? He'll write, preposterous. Disgusting. Yeah, Bardo will be like, ugh. I guarantee you, if you just put your ear to Bardo's door, you'll hear, ugh.
Yeah.
Just once. You think he's jerking off. He's not. He's sighs.
He's dry heaving.
It's painful.
The Wasps at some point they just became very, very proper.
Right.
They just became, and that's how they are. The Brits are very proper. That's the way they did warfare back then.
Right.
It was a gentleman's game. They wore red coats like fucking idiots.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the easiest way to spot somebody.
Dummies.
Americans, red, white, and blue. We figured out camouflage, baby.
That's what it is.
Blend in with your environment. Imitate the animals.
That's what it is. And WASP, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. That's what that means. And just for the, because some people don't know what WASP is. I mean, Debo's over here thinking like, why are they mad at bees? Debo doesn't fucking know. Debo's like, I hate bees. I'm deathly allergic. I cry at the end of My Girl. Debo don't fucking know. So
he's a pilot. Cuz.
Yeah, Debo's a pilot. Yeah, this WASP don't fly that high.
Yeah.
So, so 1765 stamp back, we go fucking ape shit. Then, basically what happens is Benjamin Franklin says no taxation without representation. So he's basically like, look, all you got to do is represent us in Parliament. That's it, and we're good. You can tax us whatever you want to do. Basically, the British government says no. So shit starts to go down, and of course, July 4th, 1776.
Big mistake, fuckers.
Yeah, big mistake.
First of all, let's just point it out. If you're listening and you're from Britain, big mistake. Benny Frank offered you a deal.
Yeah.
He gave us a good deal. It was a good fucking deal. Now, if you're a basketball fan, James Harden, he's leaving. He's going to Houston.
Yeah.
That's what happened. Now you're about to get fucked up. We're about to become the MVP, baby.
Yeah. You could have fucking did whatever you wanted to us. You could have taken shits on our chest, whatever you wanted.
You got greedy.
All you had to do was represent us in Parliament. But
we wanted one seat.
That's it.
One fucking seat.
Give me one seat. But yeah, so basically, British government says no. Because they say, you know what? We give you guys enough already. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You give us enough. You treat us like pieces of shit.
What have you done for me lately?
What have you ever done for me? You make us go fight in your wars. Like, we don't want to kill French and Indian people.
No.
That's not what we're about. No. We like them. They're nice people.
It's a hustle town. Even back then, we like to make money, drink. They'd go to the taverns. I love how everything back then revolved around taverns. Political meetings happened in taverns.
Yeah.
People hung out in taverns.
Yeah.
George Washington stayed at Francis Tavern for a week. You know he was banging puss in there.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine the fucking wooden tooth? Could you imagine going down on a go with wooden teeth? That'd be nuts, cuz.
Might be a little something extra.
Yo.
A little friction there.
So what this all sparks is this group called the Sons of Liberty. And now the Sons of Liberty are basically like a low down group like in the dark. Like basically like a precursor to like the Illuminati, precursor to the Freemasons, all that shit. Sons of Liberty starts Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Alexander Hamilton, Aaron Burr, all these fucking guys. They start meeting up at taverns, and they start to say like, look, cuzzies, we're not going to be ruled by the British anymore. We're going to declare independence. Now, back in the day, there was no Twitter, no nothing. You had to basically go house by house, colony by colony, what will eventually become state by state, and let everybody know, listen, fuck the British, we're independent now. Because the British Army was up and down the 13 colonies. I mean, they had people stationed here. So, how was I supposed to know, even if I lived out on Long Island, that, in little taverns in New York, we're starting to stage our independence? I don't know. So it took a while for the independence to get around our country. It didn't happen overnight. Right now, just fucking tweet it out.
Right now, it goes quick.
I would send a tweet right out.
You'd actually have to get on a horse and go and tell people.
That's it.
You'd have to, but most of the city back then was just Lower Manhattan, a tiny fraction of Lower Manhattan.
That's all
and
it
it
was.
was just farmland out in Long Island, but there was a lot of loyalists out there.
See, here's the thing. Okay, so if you know a little bit about New York history, wherever you listen to this podcast, in New York, and even you'll know Connecticut, Staten Island, the borough of New York. So Staten Island, New York is a very democratic city. Very democratic city. We always go blue. Democratic state, of course, New York. But Staten Island, a little sliver of it. Staten Island, which is an island, one of the 5 boroughs, island right off the coast of Brooklyn. Fucking me and Yanni P's hometown. Brooklyn all day, baby. Even though I was born in Queens.
You're
but
Queens,
Brooklyn, yeah, but Brooklyn, it's, my agent told me a few years ago, it sounds better if you're from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. So
you're kind of like a Yankee spy amongst amongst Mets fans.
Well, I'm on the borderline of Queens, Brooklyn.
I know, but all your friends are Mets fans.
They're all Mets fans, and I'm a Yankee guy.
You're a Yankee guy.
Yeah.
So you get to report back to Yankees fans about what these guys are doing.
And because I'm not like cop, fireman, criminal, pilot. They think because I followed my dream and I'm in art, they think that I just suck dick for a living.
Yeah.
That's what they say. Like, yo, you're just gay. Why don't you lick the microphone? They think I'm gay. I mean, they want to come to my shows and try to get puss run off, but they fucking think I'm gay bad.
Yeah.
And that's what they'll tell me. They say, well, Chris, doesn't matter what girls are at your show. You want their brothers. Whatever. That's why Debo's always there.
You want to go on a history tour with their brothers?
I want to go on a history tour. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, Debo said when he comes to Germany, he said he's going to take one bite of a bratwurst and stick the rest up his ass. That's what he said. So,
he did say
Debo goes wild.
I mean, the guy's got good ideas.
So basically, Staten Island, still to this day, typically votes Republican, is typically great people, but they're typically very, very, very pro-America. They're very much like, we're not about, they have more conservative ideas. And even back then, in the 1700s, Staten Island, throughout the entirety of the whole Revolutionary War, stayed mainly loyalists. They were loyal to the crown. So back then, you had the Colonial, the Colonial freedom fighters, the Patriots, not New England Patriots, not fucking Tom Brady. You had Patriots, American Patriots, and then you had the Loyalists who wanted to stay loyal to the crown. And there were reasons why they wanted to stay loyal to the crown. A lot of them owned businesses that the soldiers would come in and out of. A lot of them had just been brought up in that heritage of wanting to remain loyal. And as human beings, as Yannis and I, as we talk about this all the time, humans are very scared of the unknown. You could be living in shit. It's Stockholm syndrome, right? You're scared of the unknown. So a lot of people were saying, I don't know what freedom's going to look like, so I'd rather just not do that, and I'm just going to stay loyal to the crown. So they did that.
Also British propaganda.
Sure.
I mean, they were running stuff. They were running press and stuff and things like that. And a lot of those families were connected to British families. They made money together.
Sure.
A lot of those people out in Staten Island had land, and they were sending shit back to they were getting laced off with money.
Of course, they were getting. Yes.
Yeah, they were kind of.
It's like it's easy to say right now. Well, how could you not want to fight for freedom? It's like, put yourself in their shoes right now.
They viewed probably the Sons of Liberty as like ISIS.
Right.
To the Brits at that time, Sons of Liberty was like ISIS.
That's what it was. That's what it is. Just they all look like Zach. They all like fucking Zach face.
A revolutionary group that was like trying to, mess with their empire.
Think about it right now. I mean, we're owned by China. Could you imagine if what if I was like, I want to stay free from China?
Yeah.
You don't know. I mean, we want to do it, but then people are like, I like being owned by China.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that was just a joke. I know a lot of people right now are stomping there. They hit fucking the brake pad on their trucks.
Look,
there was just a big buildup on the BQE right now because I just fucking.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that, boys. I'm just kidding around.
You're going to hear a lot of that on this podcast.
Yeah.
It's not for the sensitive.
Yeah.
This is history, not for the sensitive.
Yeah, they're mad right now. They're like,
that's right.
No, I'm not going to get my toilet.
We're not professionals. We're not professional historians, but we are historians.
We're not professional historians. We're history hyenas.
We are history hyenas.
So we just go for it. Also, the state of Connecticut. A lot of people are like, where Bardo. That's where Bardo goes to fucking jerk off. That's the WASP. That's the WASP fucking.
No, that's where he goes for his eyes wide shut meetings.
Yeah, that's where Bardo goes to purge. He has him there.
Yeah, they put on like animal heads and they walk around naked and they do God knows what. Do cocaine. They sleep with whomever.
Yeah,
they drink the blood of lesser people.
That's what they do. Mm-hmm. So Bardo, so Connecticut is another place staying mainly loyalist throughout the Revolutionary War, and the big reason why that happened is because places like Staten Island, places like Connecticut, these were the sought out after pieces of land that people in England wanted. That's why, and it's from Colin Quinn's special. Go watch Colin Quinn's special, not New York Story. New York Story. Colin Quinn's special, New York Story on Netflix. Fantastic. And he said this, and it's true, is basically London, New London, Connecticut, which is just a whatever city right now in Connecticut. It's actually a nice city. It's on the coast of Connecticut. When you drive to I-95, anytime, stop at a road stop over there, get McDonald's, you could see New London, Connecticut. You drive right through it. And that was named after London, England, because that was their prized possession. So they named it New London. York.
That's an easy one to guess, too.
Right. It's like
New London.
But like Colin Quinn's joke, it's true. It's like New London was supposed to be the thing, and then New York is named after, as Colin Quinn says, the 6th shittiest city in England. And so New York was a nothing kind of city. I mean, it was something, but it wasn't as popular, they thought, as London, Connecticut, as New London, Connecticut. So that's why even still to this day, people will make jokes. Oh, Connecticut, waspy. You're so rich. You're from Connecticut. That has roots back in colonial times because that's where the people from England, the big wealthy wasp people from England, wanted to come and settle in places like Connecticut and even Staten Island because you wanted to be by the water. Because basically you wanted to be like, look, if I don't like it there, I don't want to go so far inland. I want to get on my ship. I want to get my slaves, and I want to go back to England. That's what I want to do.
So you think Staten Island now is conservative because the vibe of that originated from when the Loyalists were out on Staten Island?
That, and I also think prices got too much in Brooklyn, and most of the Italian mafia had to move over the bridge. Those two reasons.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe the latter might have had something to do with it too.
But cuzzies,
yeah.
Let me tell you guys something. Let me tell you something right now, okay? The next part of this podcast, it's going to get fucking nuts because I'm going to tell Yanni P and Chrissy D right now, the History Hyenas, we're going to devour. We're going to tell you. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to give you this part for free. New York City fucking basically should be the capital of the United States because number one, New York's number one. Even if you're from Boston, everything comes in New York, okay? It's New York City, baby. We were taken over by the British immediately. So the war starts 1776 in September 1776. The war starts pretty much August 1776. September 1776. This entire city, New York City, ran by the Brits. All of it ran by the Brits. But listen, there's always balance in the universe. There's always balance. So in the next part of this podcast, I'm going to tell you why actually, it was the best thing to happen to us. Best thing to happen to the Revolutionary War was have the Brits take over New York right away. And I'm going to tell you why.
And listen, this ends the first part of our free podcast.
Yes.
If you want to listen to the next half hour, the second half, where we get wild, we're going to chew the bones of history.
Yeah.
In 1776, you want to go over to our Patreon page and, donate what you got to donate. Become a patron. And listen to the rest of the podcast.
Yeah.
Behind the Patreon.
Go to patreon.com, do it, and then I'm going to tell you why it's okay to be a rat in 1776.
Patreon.com/Bay Ridge Boys.
History Hyenas. All right.